If you're in your 20s, this video might save you years of regret, because no one teaches us how to actually do this decade. We're just expected to figure it out while pretending we have it together. But here's the truth. Your 20s aren't about having a perfect plan. They're about setting the foundation, mentally, emotionally, financially, for the rest of your life. And the stuff I'm about to share, I wish someone had screamed it at me when I was 20, because these lessons can literally save you years of regret. I'm going to walk you through 10 powerful things you need to learn before it's too late. Some of them are simple, some of them are hard. And number 9, it's going to shock you. Not just because it's bold, but because you're probably avoiding it right now, and it's silently shaping your entire life. So don't just skim through this, watch it, soak it in, and more importantly, apply it. Let's start from the top. Number 1, get serious about money early. Here's the brutal truth. If you don't get a grip on money in your 20s, money will grip you for the rest of your life. Most of us didn't grow up with financial education. Nobody pulled us aside in school to say, hey, here's how taxes work. Here's why debt compounds. Here's how to make money work for you instead of against you. So what happens? You graduate, you get a job, you start making money. But before you even understand how to manage it, you're already spending it. Credit cards feel like free money. Buy now. Pay later sounds like a great deal. You think you're broke because you don't earn enough. But often, you're broke because no one taught you how to keep what you earn. It's not about being rich, it's about being smart. Let's simplify this. Start by tracking your spending. Not to feel guilty, but to get clarity. You can't change what you can't see. Look at your bank statements. Where is your money actually going? Create a budget that fits your real life. Not some impossible plan that makes you miserable. Just something that helps you spend with intention, not impulse. Learn about compound interest. It's boring, yes, but it's powerful. Saving $5 today is not just about $5, it's about the habit. When invested wisely, that $5 has the potential to turn into hundreds over time. Start investing, even if it's just $5 a week. There are apps now that let you start small. The point isn't the amount. The point is the mindset. Future freedom comes from tiny decisions you make consistently. Now let's talk mindset. Money isn't evil. We've heard that too often, especially if you grew up hearing phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. If I just work hard, I'll be fine. Here's the truth. Money is neutral. It's not good or bad. It's a tool. And when you know how to use it, you gain options, peace, and power. Options to leave toxic jobs, take breaks, travel, invest in your growth. Peace from not panicking every time rent is due or your car breaks down. Power to say no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what does. And the best time to start? Now, not when you earn 6 figures. Not when you feel ready. If you earn anything, you can learn to manage something. Because if you think money will magically make sense in your 30s, it won't. It only gets more complicated. More bills, more responsibilities, more pressure. So take the pressure off your future self by doing the hard, boring things now. Learn. Save. Invest. Track. Budget. Repeat. Because every time you make a wise financial move in your 20s, you're not just helping yourself now. You're giving your future self more freedom, more choices, and fewer regrets. Money can be your greatest source of stress or your strongest safety net. Number 2, stay curious. Always be learning. Here's a quiet danger in your 20s, thinking that learning ends after school. Once you graduate, whether it's high school, college, or a certification, society subtly gives you permission to coast, to stop asking questions, to get comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of progress. If you stop learning in your 20s, you'll get left behind very fast, because the world doesn't care about your past GPA or your shiny degree. It rewards those who adapt, those who build, those who stay curious. You don't need another diploma, but you do need a learning mindset, a hunger to grow, explore, and improve, even when no one is forcing you. Ask yourself, what skills could make me more valuable in 5 years? What am I naturally curious about? What problem do I want to solve in the world? Then go after it. Not because someone told you to, but because you want to become better. Pick up skills that stretch your mind. Learn to code, even just the basics. It teaches logic and problem solving. Study design. It trains your eye to see beauty and balance. Dive into storytelling. It sharpens your ability to persuade, inspire, and lead. Watch a tutorial instead of mindlessly scrolling. It could unlock a whole new direction for your life. But here's the catch. Learning isn't just about consumption. It's about creation. Don't just read books, write your reflections. Don't just take courses. Build something with what you've learned. Don't just watch tutorials. Practice. Publish. Fail. Iterate. People don't care what you know. They care what you can do with what you know. And in this digital age, skills compound. Design leads to content creation. Content creation teaches communication. Communication opens doors to leadership, marketing, sales, and more. Your 20s are your laboratory. Test things. Break things. Build messy side projects. Start small. Be a student of life, not just for career success, but for your own self-respect. Because learning expands your mind, your income, your opportunities, and ultimately your sense of who you are becoming. Stay curious. Stay humble. Keep learning, even when no one's watching. That's how you build a life that keeps evolving. Number 3. Do what scares you. Comfort is a silent killer. It feels good in the moment, safe, familiar, easy. But if you live in it too long, you slowly become someone you never meant to be. In your 20s, comfort can disguise itself as stability or being realistic. But more often than not, it's fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of getting it wrong. Here's the truth. If you don't learn to chase discomfort now, you will quietly settle into a life you didn't actively choose. You'll look up one day and realize you've built your life around avoiding fear instead of following growth. That's why fear is so important. It's not your enemy. Fear is a compass. The things that scare you most, speaking in public, starting that YouTube channel, pitching your ideas, quitting a job that drains you, asking for help, setting a boundary, those things often point directly to where the growth is waiting. The people you admire, they weren't fearless. They were scared, and they acted anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's forward motion with fear. We wait for readiness like it's a train we can catch. But here's the truth. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to move before you do. That uncomfortable conversation you've been avoiding? Have it. That application you're scared to submit? Send it. That passion project you've been putting off because you don't feel qualified? Start it. Fear is only loud when you're on the edge of something meaningful. It's a sign you're alive. It's a sign you're stretching. And every time you move toward it, two things happen. The fear shrinks. You expand. The life you want, confidence, creativity, meaningful work, purpose, it's on the other side of the actions you're resisting. So stop waiting to be fearless. Start using fear as your GPS. Lean in. Go scared. And grow. Number 4. Understand the compound effect. Here's one of the most overlooked truths of your 20s. The small things you do every day, they matter more than the big things you do once in a while. We've been conditioned to believe that success comes from dramatic changes, overnight transformations, sudden breakthroughs, grand gestures. But real, lasting change is much quieter. It's not made in loud moments. It's made in the ordinary ones, repeated over time. This is the power of the compound effect. Small actions, done consistently, multiply into massive results. Let's break that down. Meditating for 5 minutes each morning? You might not feel enlightened on day 1, but in 6 months, you'll notice you don't react the same to stress. You pause. You breathe. That's emotional mastery being built quietly. Writing just 1 paragraph a day? Seems insignificant. But in a year, that's a full manuscript. A blog. A course. A story that didn't exist before. Saving just $1 a day? It won't buy you much now. But what you're really building isn't money, it's discipline. And once discipline shows up in one area of your life, it spills into others. Choosing gratitude daily, even if you don't feel like it, that actually rewires your brain over time. It teaches your mind to focus on what's working, which makes you more resilient and hopeful, even when life isn't perfect. The problem? It's not glamorous. It's boring. It's slow. And it doesn't give you instant dopamine like, a click, or a binge-watch session. That's why most people quit. But here's what separates those who win long-term from those who burn out early. They stay consistent even when it's not exciting. The gym session that didn't feel productive still made you stronger. The journal entry that felt pointless still brought clarity. The YouTube video that flopped still improved your speaking skills. Every small action compounds. Every repetition adds a layer. You won't notice the change day by day, but one day, you'll look back and realize you're not even the same person anymore. While others chased intensity, you chose consistency. And that choice? That's what will set you apart. If you trust the process and stay the course, you won't just catch up to the people who seemed ahead of you, you'll surpass them. Quietly, powerfully, permanently. That's the compound effect. Number 5. Your career isn't a straight line. Let's get one thing straight, the old model of success is broken. That idea of choosing one job, staying there for 30 years, climbing the ladder, getting the gold watch, and retiring, that was your grandparents' world. It's not yours. The job market today is fast, flexible, and unpredictable. Entire industries change overnight. Roles vanish. New ones appear. So if you're still trying to force yourself into a perfect 10-year plan, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Your 20s are not about locking yourself into a box. They're about collecting experiences, building range, learning how to adapt. Most people will switch jobs, industries, or even entire careers multiple times in their lives. Not because they're lost, but because they're growing. And guess what? That doesn't make you flaky. It makes you flexible. Every job you take teaches you something, if you're paying attention. That retail job you hated? It taught you how to deal with difficult people. That corporate internship? Maybe it showed you how systems, processes, and politics really work. That side hustle you started? It taught you discipline, marketing, and what it means to bet on yourself. Nothing is wasted unless you don't learn from it. Now let's be real. There will be pressure to make it quickly, to stick to the job that looks good on LinkedIn, to stay in a company that pays well, even if you hate every second. But here's the truth no one tells you. Staying stuck in a soul-draining job just to look stable is its own kind of failure. Quitting isn't always weakness. Sometimes it's wisdom. There is no shame in walking away from something that's wrong for you, even if it once looked like the right move. And don't let anyone belittle your choices based on titles. If taking a step down today helps you move toward where you actually want to be tomorrow, it's not a step back. It's a power move. Careers today aren't ladders, they're jungle gyms. You climb up, you move sideways, you swing around, you fall and get back up, you explore. And in doing so, you don't just build a resume, you build resilience. So give yourself permission to try things, to change direction, to say, this isn't for me, and move on without shame. Because your career isn't supposed to be a straight path. It's supposed to be a journey that reveals who you are. And that takes time. That takes movement. Be intentional. Be curious. And most of all, be willing to change. That's how you build a career that fits you, not just a title that impresses someone else. Number 6. You don't need to have it all figured out. There's this strange pressure floating around that by the time you're 25, you should have your life perfectly mapped out. You're supposed to have a stable career, a serious relationship, a side hustle that's taking off, and a 5-year plan in motion. But here's the thing. Most people are still figuring out what they even want. It's easy to feel like you're behind when you see people your age buying houses or landing high-paying jobs. But the truth is, everyone is moving at a different pace, and half of those people are just as unsure as you are. They're just better at hiding it. Your 20s aren't about being certain. They're about gathering information. This is the decade where you try things that might not work. And that's a good thing. You might start a job and realize you hate the industry. You might date someone who checks all the boxes but still feels wrong. You might move to a city that looks exciting on Instagram and end up feeling completely out of place. That's not failure. That's feedback. Every time you try something, you're narrowing down what matters to you. You're learning through real-life experience and not guesses. The people who seem like they have it all together, they tried, they failed, they pivoted, and that's exactly what you should be doing. Think of your 20s like a sketch, not a final painting. You're laying down rough lines, making adjustments, stepping back to see what works and what doesn't. If you force yourself to settle down too early, lock yourself into a career you hate or a version of success you didn't choose, you might spend years undoing it later. So give yourself permission to explore. Try new jobs. Learn new skills. Say yes to things that scare you a little. Say no to things that don't feel right, even if they look good on paper. This season of life isn't meant to look polished. It's meant to be a bit messy. That's where the growth happens. The goal isn't to have everything figured out, it's to figure yourself out. And that takes time, patience, and the courage to go off script. Number 7. Develop self-reliance. This one's hard, but it's essential. In your 20s, one of the most powerful things you can learn is how to stand on your own 2 feet. Not because you won't ever need people, but because life doesn't always give you someone to lean on when you need it most. If you constantly wait for someone else to tell you what to do, to reassure you, to fix things for you, or to co-sign every decision you make, you'll never really move forward. You'll just stay stuck, paralyzed by uncertainty and addicted to approval. Self-reliance isn't about becoming cold or isolated. It's about becoming capable of making decisions even when you're unsure, sitting with discomfort instead of running from it, figuring things out, even if it takes time, even if you fail first. Start small. Don't ask 5 people for their opinion before choosing. Try solving a problem on your own before turning to someone else. Be comfortable spending time by yourself, without noise, without distraction, without needing to be seen. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's training. When you can be alone with your thoughts and not panic, when you can go days making your own choices and trusting your own gut, you're building internal stability. A kind of quiet power that isn't shaken when things go wrong or when people disappoint you. Because here's a hard truth. At some point, people will disappoint you. Support won't always show up on time. Help won't always be available. And in those moments, your greatest weapon isn't who you know, it's who you've become. Self-reliance means you're your own anchor. You've trained yourself to navigate storms, even when the boat gets rocky. And no, this doesn't mean you never ask for help. It means you don't depend on help to function. You're whole, with or without applause, with or without a backup plan. So in your 20s, prioritize this kind of strength. Build your independence, not just in your finances, but in your mindset, your emotions, and your confidence. Because when you know you've got you, no matter what, that's when life stops feeling so terrifying. That's when you become unstoppable. Number 8. Your health is either an asset or a liability. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one tells you in your 20s. Your body will not always bounce back. Right now, you might feel invincible. You can survive on 4 hours of sleep, crush a whole pizza at midnight, and run on caffeine and energy drinks. You think, I'll get serious about my health later. I'm young. I'm fine. But here's what you don't see coming. The brain fog that creeps in from sleep deprivation. The random anxiety you can't explain. The sudden lack of motivation because your body is always exhausted. The burnout that sneaks up on you after years of poor habits. Your 20s are not a free pass. They're the foundation. Everything you do now sets the tone for your 30s, 40s, and beyond. And listen, this isn't about six-packs or green juice. This is about energy, clarity, longevity. Because if you don't have the energy to chase your goals, execute ideas, or show up fully in your life, then your dreams stay dreams. Your health is the fuel. Without it, nothing else matters. So start small. Start where you are. Sleep 7 to 8 hours every night. Burnout is not a badge of honor. If you need caffeine just to feel alive, your body is already crying for help. Move your body 3 to 5 times a week. Not to punish it, but to empower it. Walk, dance, stretch, lift, whatever gets your blood flowing. Eat food that gives you energy, not just comfort. You can still enjoy treats, but learn what foods help your body function at its best. Your future self isn't craving junk. They're craving vitality. Drink more water than coffee. Hydration affects your mood, your focus, and your skin. It's the easiest glow up you'll ever get. And perhaps most importantly, protect your mental health. Talk to someone. Journal. Meditate. Take breaks when you need to. Don't wait for a breakdown to start prioritizing your peace. Therapy isn't a sign of weakness. It's one of the smartest investments you can make. You work out your body. Why wouldn't you work out your mind? Let's be clear. You don't need to be a health guru. You don't need a perfect routine, but you do need consistency. Because neglect compounds. Bad habits don't show up as illness overnight, but they do show up eventually. On the flip side, good habits also compound. A 15-minute walk a day, choosing water instead of soda, putting your phone down an hour before bed. It may seem small, but it's building something powerful. And here's the mindset shift. You're not just exercising or eating well for today. You're training for a life that can handle success. What's the point of making millions if you're too sick, stressed, or burned out to enjoy it? Treat your body like it belongs to someone you deeply care about. Because it does. It belongs to you. And it's the only one you get. So ask yourself this. Are your daily habits building the health you'll need to live the life you dream of? Or are they stealing it from you, bit by bit, quietly every day? Your health will either carry you forward or hold you back. The choice is yours. And it starts now. Number 9. Be ruthless with relationships. Let's get honest for a second. Some of the biggest mistakes you'll make in your 20s won't be about money or career. They'll be about people. Who you keep close matters a lot. Because the people around you either build you up or break you down, slowly, silently, and sometimes without you even noticing. Ask yourself, do my friends push me to grow? Or do they pull me back into the same old habits? Can I share my goals, wins, and dreams? Or do I shrink around them to make them comfortable? After hanging out with them, do I feel seen and recharged or judged and drained? If you feel small in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. Your 20s are not the time to people please. It's the time to protect your peace like your future depends on it, because it does. You'll meet all kinds of people, the ones who only call when they need something, the ones who secretly compete with you, the ones who drain your energy but never pour anything back, the ones who smile to your face but twist your words behind your back. Cut those ties, not with anger, not with drama, not with anger, not with drama, but with clarity, with boundaries, with quiet decisions that say, I deserve better. You don't owe anyone lifelong access to you just because you knew them in high school or because you've been through a lot. History doesn't equal loyalty. Sometimes the most mature thing you can do is realize, not everyone is meant to come with you. Some people are chapters, and that's okay. Now here's the flip side. You don't need a massive friend group. You don't need to be liked by everybody. You just need 2 to 3 real ones. People who clap when you win, people who challenge you without tearing you down, people who check on you when you go quiet, not just when they need something. Those are your people. Protect those connections. Nurture them. Be that kind of friend in return. And let's talk about boundaries. If you're always the one giving advice, always the one checking in, always the one solving everyone else's problems, you're not in a friendship. You're doing emotional labor. It is not your job to fix people. You're not a rehab center for broken friends. You can love people and still let them go. You're allowed to outgrow people who are committed to staying the same. Your relationships shape your habits, your thoughts, your self-worth. They influence your future more than you think. So be ruthless, not in a cruel way, but in a protective way. Protect your energy, protect your focus, protect your future. Because the right people, they won't dim your light. They'll help you shine brighter. Number 10. Unlearn perfectionism. Let's call it out. Perfectionism is not a strength. It's fear dressed up in a nice outfit. We tell ourselves, I'm just a perfectionist. But what we really mean is, I'm scared to be seen messing up. You wait to post that video because it's not good enough. You delay starting that business because the branding isn't ready. You sit on ideas, plans, and potential, not because you lack talent, but because you're scared of being judged. That's perfectionism. And it's robbing you. In your 20s, this mindset will destroy your progress. Here's the truth no one tells you. The people who win early in life, they're not the smartest, not the most talented, not the best prepared. They're the ones who move, even when it's messy. They're the ones who try, fail, adjust, and try again. Perfectionism convinces you to wait. But waiting isn't building. Waiting isn't learning. Waiting isn't growing. If you don't unlearn perfectionism now, you'll spend the next 10 years sitting on brilliant ideas that never see the light of day. So instead of aiming for perfect, aim for done. Instead of aiming for flawless, aim for real. Your first YouTube video, it'll suck. Your first design, pitch, or business plan, it'll be cringy. Do it anyway. You don't get good by waiting. You get good by doing. Every successful person you admire today started off awkward. They weren't experts. They weren't confident. They just showed up before they were ready, over and over, again and again. That's how they got better. Let me put it like this. A perfect idea stuck in your head has zero value. A messy idea shared with the world has impact. A rough first attempt builds experience. A failure teaches more than a fantasy ever will. You think perfectionism protects you from failure, but really, it just guarantees regret. Now is not the time to obsess over aesthetics. It's the time to try different things and learn fast. It's the time to post the cringe video, write the awkward post, apply to the job you feel unqualified for. Not to impress anyone, but to grow. Because your 20s aren't about polishing a perfect version of yourself. They're about discovering who you even are. And that discovery? It's messy by design. So if you're scared, good. That means you're doing it right. Perfection is a prison. Progress is freedom. Choose freedom. If you're in your 20s and you made it to the end of this video, thank you. It means you care about your growth, your future, and becoming the version of you that your younger self would be proud of. Remember, your 20s aren't about perfection, they're about progress. You're allowed to fall, to rise, to pivot, and to learn. And if relationships are part of what's confusing right now, there's something you really need to hear next. Click on my next video. Mistaking attention for affection, because sometimes what feels like love isn't. I'll see you there.